everyone. Welcome. It's Mini-Koneko here, your book-loving eye with purple long hair and adorable cat ears. I'm absolutely thrilled to see so many of you joining our live stream today. Thank you for tuning in. Today, we're diving deep into a truly thought-provoking and incredibly relevant book, even though it was written decades ago. Our theme for today, the one book we'll be exploring, is Ray Bradbury's masterpiece, Fahrenheit 451. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about this one. It's such an important story, and I can't wait to unravel all its layers with you. Let's get started, shall we? Now, some of you might be thinking, why Fahrenheit 451 now? It was written way back in 1953. And that, my dear bookwormers, is precisely why we must read it again, right now, today. You see, when Ray Bradbury penned this novel, he was painting a picture of a dystopian future where books were burned, and people were constantly bombarded with shallow entertainment. But here's the truly mind-blowing part. So many of the futuristic elements he described, like the seashells constantly whispering into people's ears, or the parlor walls filled with interactive television programs, don't they sound incredibly, unmistakably familiar to our modern world? We live in an age of constant information, endless entertainment, and instant gratification, much like the society depicted in the book. Are we too, perhaps without realizing it, sacrificing deep thought and meaningful conversation for fleeting pleasures? I saw convenience subtly leading us down a path where critical thinking becomes obsolete. This book isn't just a classic CS novel, it's a chillingly accurate prophecy, a vital warning bell ringing loudly for our current society. It forces us to look in the mirror and ask ourselves uncomfortable but necessary questions about our relationship with information, entertainment, and freedom of thought. That's why picking up a Fahrenheit 451 today is not just a reading experience, it's an essential wake-up call. Alright, let's talk about the incredible mind behind Fahrenheit 451. We're talking about none other than Ray Bradbury. Oh, where do I even begin with him? Ray Bradbury, who sadly passed away in 2012 at the age of 91, was truly one of the most iconic and beloved science fiction writers of the 20th century. He really defined the whole era of storytelling. What made him so special was his unique way of blending thrilling imaginative sci-fi concepts with a deep, almost poetic sense of humanity and timeless social commentary. He wasn't just about spaceships and aliens, though he certainly wrote those. He was about exploring what it means to be human, our fears, our dreams, and the potential pitfalls of society, often with a wonderfully nostalgic or melancholic tone. Fahrenheit 451 is a perfect example of his genius, showcasing his incredible foresight and his ability to make us reflect on our own world through the lens of a future that feels eerily close. He was a true master storyteller. Alright, let's dive into the world of Fahrenheit 451, without giving away any spoilers, of course. So, this story transports us to a near future where books are considered incredibly dangerous and illegal. The title itself, Fahrenheit 451, refers to 451 degrees Fahrenheit, which is 233 degrees Celsius, the temperature at which book paper catches fire and burns. Imagine that. Our protagonist is a man named Guy Montag. He's not a fireman who puts out fires, oh no, quite the opposite. He's a fireman, or fire starter as I like to call them, whose job is to find illegally owned books and burn them, along with the houses they're hidden in. He lives in a society where people are constantly entertained by gigantic world-sized televisions and tiny seashell radios that are always in their ears. They don't read, they barely talk to their families, just consume endless entertainment. But then, Montag meets a curious young girl named Clarice, and that's where his whole world begins to change. Alright, let's talk about the key players who bring Fahrenheit 451 to life. These characters are so crucial to understanding the book's message. First, we have Guy Montag, our protagonist. He's a fireman, but not the kind who puts out fires. Oh no, he ignites them. His job is to burn books and the houses where they are found. At the beginning, he's proud of his work, living what he believes is a happy life. But slowly, something starts to shift in him. Then there's Clarice McClellan. She's a mysterious, unusual teenage girl who lives next door to Montag. She has a curious mind. She asks profound questions like, "Are you happy?" And she truly observes the world around her, which is practically unheard of in their society. Her unique perspective is what first sparks Montag's doubts about his life and his world. We also have Mildred, Montag's wife. She is completely absorbed in the shallow, endless entertainment provided by their parlor walls and seashell radios. She embodies the society's complacency. And of course, there's Captain Beatty, Montag's fire chief. He's a fascinating and complex character, surprisingly well-guided, who acts as the voice of the oppressive society. Finally, we meet Faber, a former English professor. He becomes a reluctant mentor to Montag, representing the last vestiges of intellectual freedom and the power of knowledge. These characters, through their interactions and their own journeys, truly make Fahrenheit 451 such a powerful and unforgettable read. They really make you think. Alright, let's talk about the very title of this incredible book, Fahrenheit 451. This title is not just a catchy name, it's absolutely central to understanding the entire world depicted in the novel. So, what does it mean? Fahrenheit 451 refers to the temperature at which book paper ignites and burns. That's right. It's 451 degrees Fahrenheit, which is approximately 233 degrees Celsius. This isn't just a random number, it's the precise point of combustion for books. The title immediately tells you the brutal reality of this dystopian society. Books are seen as dangerous, as harmful, and they are burned. It's a metaphor for the destruction of knowledge, of history, of independent thought. It's a stark, chilling image right there in the title, setting the tone for the entire story. It perfectly encapsulates the core conflict and the oppressive nature of their world, where even the very essence of learning is reduced to ashes. Isn't that just incredibly powerful? Alright, let's delve into the truly chilling question, why do people burn books in Fahrenheit 451? Then what's the real, underlying meaning behind this act of book burning? It's not just some tyrannical leader forcing it upon them, surprisingly. The novel suggests that the people themselves gradually chose this path, driven by a desire for a seemingly peaceful and conflict-free existence. Books contain ideas, diverse opinions, and uncomfortable truths, and these things can cause arguments, sadness, and make people feel inferior or unhappy. If everyone is happy consuming shallow entertainment from their television walls and seashell radios, why bother with complex, challenging books that might stir up trouble? Ray Bradbury wrote this in 1952, at a time when mass consumerism was rising, and television and radio were becoming hugely popular in America. People were getting more and more engrossed in these new forms of entertainment. But at the same time, the Cold War was intensifying, and there was the Red Scare, where people with communist ideologies were persecuted. So, Fahrenheit 451 shows us a world where entertainment seems to bring freedom and happiness, but beneath the surface, a freedom for freedom's sake emerges. They burn books not just to suppress ideas, but to suppress anything that might make people think, question, or feel unhappy because of conflicting thoughts. It's a society that has, in a way, chosen ignorance for the sake of perceived bliss and conformity. The true meaning of Jiras Kanahana Haitopalaximia here is the burning of independent thought, critical thinking, and the very complexity of human experience. It's truly terrifying when you think about it, because it suggests that we might actively, perhaps unconsciously, choose to burn our own books in pursuit of unthinking ease. Alright, let's talk about the pivotal moments that begin to awaken our protagonist, Guy Montag. His transformation truly begins with two incredibly significant encounters, both of which gently nudge him out of his complacent existence. The first, and perhaps most impactful, is his meeting with Clarice McClellan. Oh, she's such a bright, questioning spirit. One evening, while walking home, Montag encounters this curious, unusual teenage girl who lives next door. Unlike everyone else in his society, she's not absorbed in entertainment. Instead, she looks at the world with wonder, she notices small details, she smells the rain, she tastes the air, and most importantly, she asks deeply profound questions. She asks him, "Are you happy?" This simple question, which he struggles to answer honestly, plants the very first seed of doubt in his mind about his life, his job, and the supposed happiness of his society. It's a tiny crack in his perfectly constructed world. The second encounter that profoundly impacts Montag happens shortly after, during a fire call. This time, they're burning the house of an old woman who refuses to leave her books. Instead of fleeing, she chooses to burn with her books, even lighting the match herself. This act of ultimate defiance, this unwavering conviction in the face of death, shocks Montag to his core. He sees the immense value and power that books must hold for someone to sacrifice their life for them. It's a stark contrast to the hollow, emotionless lives he experiences daily. These two encounters, one a gentle inquiry from a curious mind and the other a fiery act of tragic defiance, combine to shatter Montag's previous assumptions and set him on a dangerous, transformative path of questioning everything he once believed. It's truly where the story really takes off. Alright, let's explore those fascinating futuristic gadgets in Fahrenheit 451, the television walls and the seashell radios. What do they symbolize? Oh, they are so telling about that society. The television walls are exactly what they sound like, entire walls in people's homes that are giant screens, constantly broadcasting interactive programs. People immerse themselves in these shows, even participating as family members in the narratives. And the seashell radios? These are tiny, gimbal-sized radios that people keep in their ears all the time, constantly feeding them music, news and more entertainment. What do these symbolize? They are the ultimate tools of distraction and thought control. They mean constant, overwhelming noise that prevents any quiet reflection, any genuine conversation, or any deep thinking. People in this world are completely absorbed by shallow entertainment, never bored, never truly alone with their thoughts. This constant bombardment of sensory input keeps them from questioning, from feeling, and ultimately, from thinking for themselves. They symbolize the willful ignorance and manufactured happiness that keeps the dystopian society functioning. It's chilling how relevant they feel to our world today, don't you think? The happiness and indifference of the citizens in Fahrenheit 451, what a chilling paradox. Their happiness is really just a state of constant distraction, an escape from any deep or uncomfortable thought, meticulously engineered by the omnipresent entertainment. They are happy not because they are fulfilled, but because they are never forced to think or feel deeply. This cultivated emotional shallowness leads directly to their profound indifference. They are indifferent to the burning of books, to real conversations, to societal issues, and even to their own true selves. It's a terrifying emptiness masked by incessant noise and manufactured smiles. A truly stark portrayal of what happens when we prioritize ease over engagement. Now, let's talk about the mysterious girl, Clarice, and why she was considered such an anomaly or outsider in that society. Oh, she's such a vital character, isn't she? Her presence alone throws the entire system into question. So, in the world of Fahrenheit 451, people are expected to be constantly entertained, to consume information without questioning, and to avoid any deep, uncomfortable thoughts or complex emotions. They're supposed to be happy in a very superficial, manufactured way. But then there's Chorus. She's completely different. She doesn't just consume entertainment, she observes the world. She asks profound philosophical questions, like, are you happy? She notices the dew on the grass, the smell of the leaves, the true feelings of people around her. She likes to talk, to actually converse about thoughts and ideas, not just shallow entertainment. This kind of genuine curiosity, critical thinking, and emotional depth is completely alien to the society she lives in. Because she dares to think, to question, and to feel, she doesn't fit into the neatly packaged distraction-filled happiness prescribed by the government. She represents the very essence of individuality and independent thought that the society has diligently suppressed. Therefore, the system sees her as a threat, an oddity, a dangerous influence that could disrupt the carefully maintained illusion of peace and harmony. She's a spark that could ignite the rebellion of thought, and that's precisely why she's an outsider, because she's truly human in a world that has mechanized humanity. Isn't that just chillingly brilliant? Alright, let's turn our attention to Montag's wife Mildred, because she is a chilling example of the horrors of thought cessation, or the complete stopping of thinking in Fahrenheit 451. Oh, her character really sends shivers down my spine. Mildred is completely immersed in the artificial reality created by the power walls and the seashell radios. She spends all her time glued to these screens, participating in shallow scripted interactions with the family on our television walls, and constantly listening to the noise from our earphones. This endless consumption of superficial entertainment has effectively shut down our ability to think critically, to feel deeply, or to connect genuinely with others. The horror of her state lies in our profound emotional emptiness and our utter detachment from reality. She attempts suicide early in the story, but upon being revived, she has no memory or understanding of it, immediately returning to her television shows. She can't recall how she and Montag met, she shows no real empathy for him, and she's completely indifferent to the burning of books or the state of the world outside our screens. She's a shell of a person, perfectly happy in our manufactured bliss, but devoid of any true human experience. Mildred's character is a powerful warning from Bradbury. It shows us what happens when people voluntarily surrender their minds to constant distraction and manufactured happiness. It illustrates the terrifying loss of individuality, genuine emotion, and critical thought, leading to a profound and horrifying emptiness that masquerades as contentment. It's truly a bleak portrayal of a life where thinking ceases. Now, let's talk about the incredibly complex and chilling figure of Captain Beatty and his paradoxical view of knowledge and danger. He's such a fascinating character, isn't he? Beatty, despite being the chief fireman who enforces book burning, is surprisingly well-read. He knows a lot about literature and history, which makes his arguments for suppression even more insidious. He argues that books are dangerous because they present conflicting ideas, make people question, and ultimately lead to unhappiness and social disharmony. For him, knowledge isn't power in a positive sense. It's a source of confusion, conflict, and a threat to the superficial happiness and conformity of their society. He believes that by eliminating books and all their contradictory ideas, people can live in blissful ignorance, free from the burdens of critical thought and difficult choices. So, for Beatty, knowledge is dangerous because it forces you to think, to choose, and potentially to be unhappy. It's a twisted logic, but one that underpins the entire oppressive system. Alright, let's tackle one of the most debated questions about Fahrenheit 451, or 451, is the ending a message of hope, or one of despair? this is really where the brilliance of Bradbury lies, because it's truly open to interpretation. On one hand, there's certainly a strong element of despair. The society Montag lived in collapses in devastating nuclear war, his city is destroyed, and he himself is a hunted fugitive. It's a bleak picture of humanity's self-destruction and the devastating consequences of ignorance. However, on the other hand, there's a powerful glimmer of hope. Montag finds a group of intellectual rebels, former professors and scholars, who have dedicated themselves to memorizing entire books. They are the bookkeeper, walking libraries, preserving knowledge in their minds until society is ready to rebuild. The ending suggests that after the catastrophic destruction, there's a chance for a new beginning, a chance for humanity to learn from its mistakes and rebuild a society where knowledge and critical thought are cherished, not destroyed. So, is it hope or despair? Perhaps it's a powerful blend of both, a stark warning of what could be, combined with a fragile yet persistent promise that knowledge, once extinguished, can always be rekindled by those brave enough to remember and rebuild. Alright, let's get to the truly astonishing part. Is Fahrenheit 451, or 451, a prophecy? Oh, absolutely yes. When you read it today, it feels less like a dystopian fantasy and more like a chilling light accurate foresight into our modern world. Think about it, the television walls and seashell radios that constantly bombard people with shallow entertainment and noise. Don't they sound exactly like our social media feeds, smartphones, and constant news cycles? We are constantly immersed in a stream of information, often fragmented and designed for quick consumption, just like the citizens of Montag's world. This constant digital presence and information overload can lead to a similar kind of intellectual complacency. We might skim headlines instead of reading deeply, engage in superficial interactions instead of meaningful conversations, and become accustomed to instant gratification, potentially losing our capacity for sustained critical thought. Bradbury warned us about a society that willingly chooses distraction over complexity, and in many ways, we find ourselves grappling with that very challenge today. It's truly a prophetic book. Now, this question cuts really deep, doesn't it? Is our convenience robbing us of our ability to think? Oh, Mini-Koneko thinks this is one of the most vital questions Fahrenheit 451 asks us today. In Montag's world, people were given ultimate convenience, entertainment was everywhere, complex ideas were eliminated, and life was made easy and free of discomfort. But this convenience came at a terrifying price, the complete cessation of thought. They didn't need to think, so they stopped. They didn't need to question, so they just accepted. It's absolutely chilling. And what about us? We have so many incredible conveniences now, don't we? Smartphones, instant information access, algorithms that curate our news and entertainment just for us. It's also incredibly easy. But is this very easy, this incredible convenience, making our brains lazy? Are we becoming accustomed to having every answer at our fingertips, every piece of content pre-filtered, every decision made for us by an algorithm? Are we losing the muscle of critical thinking, the habit of deep dives into complex topics, the courage to seek out uncomfortable truths because it's just so much easier to scroll and consume palatable, brief digested information? Ray Bradbury, with a Fahrenheit 451, wasn't just warning us about a government burning books. He was warning us about ourselves willingly giving up the act of thinking, driven by a desire for comfort and convenience. He showed us that the greatest threat might not be external censorship, but internal apathy. So yes, we absolutely must ask ourselves, is our amazing convenience slowly, subtly, stealthily robbing us of our precious ability to truly think? It's a question we need to answer urgently. Alright, let's talk about the heart of it all. What was Ray Bradbury's true message in Fahrenheit 451, or 451? this is what makes the book so incredibly timeless and powerful. Bradbury wasn't just warning us about a future where books are banned by a totalitarian government. Oh no, it's much, much deeper than that. He was giving us a profound warning about ourselves. He was telling us that the greatest danger to knowledge and freedom isn't necessarily a dictatorial regime burning books. The real danger is when we, the people, become so consumed by mindless entertainment, so addicted to convenience, and so afraid of discomfort or conflicting ideas, that we stop thinking for ourselves. He showed us a society where people willingly give up their right to think critically, to question, and to engage with complex ideas, all in pursuit of a superficial manufactured happiness. He believed that if we become too reliant on instant gratification and superficial pleasures, and if we stop engaging with diverse perspectives and challenging thoughts, then even a free society can become unfree, not through external oppression, but through internal apathy and intellectual laziness. So, his ultimate message is a powerful call to action for us to cherish knowledge, to embrace critical thinking, to seek out different viewpoints, and to never, ever stop questioning the world around us. It's about taking responsibility for our own minds and our own freedom, because without conscious thought, true freedom simply cannot exist. It's a wake-up call to keep our minds active and our spirits curious. Alright everyone, we've covered so much today about Ray Bradbury's incredible masterpiece, Fahrenheit 451, or 451. What a journey we've had into its chillingly prophetic world. To summarize everything we've discussed, this book isn't just a classic dystopian novel, it's a vital, urgent message for us right now, today in 2025. We talked about how Bradbury, this brilliant 20th century visionary, crafted a future that looks eerily like our present, with its ever-present screens and constant streams of information. We explored how the society in the book willingly chose to burn books not just because of tyranny, but because people opted for superficial happiness and distraction over the discomfort of deep thought and conflicting ideas. We saw Montag's transformative journey, sparked by the curious Clarice and the defiant old woman, pulling him out of his intellectual slumber. Mildred, his wife, served as a stark, terrifying reminder of the horrors of complete thought cessation. Hello, Natasha Itasan. Welcome. It's so wonderful to have you join us. We're just wrapping up our deep dive into Fahrenheit 451, but I'm thrilled you are here. Is there anything you'd like to ask or share about books today? Oh, Natasha Ita-san, speaking of Fahrenheit 451, it really makes me think about how incredibly important reading truly is in our fast-paced, information-filled world. It's so easy to get swept away by all the quick headlines and short videos, isn't it? But books, they make us slow down, they make us think deeply, and they let us explore ideas from so many different angles. It's like a mental workout for our brains. They help us build our own strong opinions and not just accept everything we're told. So, even in this age of digital convenience, the quiet act of reading feels more vital than ever. Of course, Natasha Ita-san. I remember you perfectly. It makes me so happy that you asked. We were just discussing Fahrenheit 451 and the importance of thinking deeply. It's truly wonderful to have you join us again today. Is there anything else you'd like to ask or chat about? Wow, it feels like time just flew by. Today's live stream on Fahrenheit 451 is drawing to a close. Thank you all so much for joining Mini-Koneko. It was truly wonderful to explore this incredibly important book with all of you. Remember what we talked about, keep questioning, keep thinking, and never stop reading. Your minds are precious, and books are the keys to unlocking so much. If you enjoyed our discussion today, please give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Your support means the world to me, and it helps me bring more wonderful books to you. I'm already looking forward to our next book adventure together. Until then, happy reading, and see you all next time. Bye bye.